Menendez, your take on what you've seen in the last few days?
Well, it seems to me that this is an example of what's happening to the Republican Party across the country, beating the Republican establishment, but it's the mainstream losing to the extreme. Clearly, with Rand Paul, here's someone who, as you have already cited, questions elements of the Civil Rights Act as it relates to the private sector, says that President Obama's comments about making BP responsible in the oil spill is un-American, wants to end farm subsidies across the country, including in Kentucky. I'll take our matchup with Attorney General Jack Conaway, who's a crusading Attorney General, rooted out Medicaid fraud, against someone who clearly is in the extreme, even questions the Americans with Disabilities Act. So I think this is an example of what's happening to the Republican establishment across the country. The establishment being beaten by extreme candidates, whether it be here or in Florida or, as you see, surging in Colorado and Nevada.
His views, Dr. Paul's views about the limits of government also has to do with the deficit, and that's really the thrust of what he's run on, his concerns and other Tea Partiers' concerns about the debt. This is what he said at a Unity event in Kentucky yesterday.
We have an annual deficit of nearly $2 trillion. Interest alone on the debt is $383 billion. I think there is a day of reckoning coming. I don't want that day of reckoning to involve chaos as we're seeing in Greece.
That is a potent message. There's a reason why he won so big, and your party is in charge of the White House and Congress. Isn't this a liability, government spending and the debt, for Democrats this fall?
Well, we'll have to remind, David, the public, that Republicans left this president and this Democratic majority with 2 wars raging abroad unpaid for, a couple of $1 trillion in tax cuts unpaid for, a new entitlement program unpaid for, and what we had to do is inherit the economic mess they gave us and try to stop us from going into a very well a possibility of a depression and move forward from losing 750,000 jobs when Barack Obama took office for the first quarter of each month for the first quarter of 2009 to gaining nearly 300,000 jobs last month, from negative GDP growth to positive GDP growth. So it seems to me, including having Republicans run away from their own proposition of a bipartisan commission to deal with the national debt, something I voted for, something the Republican sponsors actually ran away from.
Senator?